Here are several mistakes I made in the forge, so you don't have to. When you're starting out, go as fast as possible through the first island. It won't matter what pickaxe, weapon, or armor you have right now. The reason for this is because the ores on this island are just really mediocre compared to almost every second island ore. It's really just not worth staying for. Do the beginner quest line, find the bard, do his quest, get a few indexes, and you should be level 10. If you need EXP or quick cash early on, just hop back to the starter island and farm the rock nodes for ores. You can crank out a crap ton of unique weapons and armor to pad out your index, with the heavier the weapon or armor, rewarding a lot more money and XP. As another bonus, if you haven't completed the monkey's quest yet, you can also gather 30 bananite from these rocks as well, an ore you can give to this monkey on this island in the second world for $10,000 and a ton of XP. On the topic of quests, remember to get as many quests from quest-giving NPCs as possible, along with your main quest, for extra gold and XP. This one isn't as important, but can help to overall boost your progression decently, as some quests are actually repeatable by these NPCs shown. There are, however, NPCs you probably shouldn't be doing unless you're really desperate for XP. Cough, cough. Alright, this one is a little bit more minor, but instead of going up this way to get to the cave over there, we can actually just use this lovely cannon over here. And that just cuts down on so much time. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. I didn't figure this out until I was like level 40 with a freaking arcane pickaxe. I'm not even joking. Follow your pickaxe progression if you want to speed through to the best ores or items in the game. It follows any cheap early game pickaxe. This can be iron, it can be the bronze, and then to cobalt or titanium, then to mithril, then arcane, and then demonic. The reason uranium is skipped is because A, it can't break basalt things and is only marginally better by some mining power, but costs roughly 1.5 times more than titanium and 3.75 times more than cobalt. Lightite can be good with the right runes, and in specific situations or scenarios be better than arcane. But arcane is better overall in most cases, with the extra rune slot and extra luck, making it a bit more of an inconvenience to pick up progression-wise. Magma is a similar case, which when clean can be considered slightly better than arcane, but is limited to only 2 rune slots, making arcane better overall with higher potential. If you're gonna forge actual gear, hold off on forging using rare ores, which are typically epic or above, until you reach at least level 35 and or have obtained a mithril pickaxe with a good amount of ores. The best crafts in the game, including the Dark Knight set, stay locked away until level 35 anyway. And in the earlier stages of mid-game, ores just aren't as good from common basalt nodes. So specifically trying to gather epic plus ores for decent gear can be a huge time waster. Your goal as a mid-game player should be getting arcane. Just save whatever you can get your grubby little hands on. And only get better gear when the enemies become genuinely harder. Just as a small side note, do not ever forge anything below heavy armor, since amount matters more than multiplier, typically. If you're unsure about forging in general, just use a forge calculator. To make the most money from your ores, forge either great axes or colossal weapons, needing around 30 ore per forge, or heavy chest plates / leggings, needing around roughly 35 ore per forge, and sell them. It shouldn't matter what kind of ore it is, just make sure it reaches the 30 or 35 amount. An item's forge multiplier is what also multiplies the sell value of the item by the base price of the item. So just focus on gathering as many common but decently high multiplier ores, which is basically around a 1.2 to 2 times multiplier. I've already mentioned this a little bit before, but your main goal early on should basically only be making money and following your pickaxe progression properly, not trying to craft the best gear or specifically only mining rare ores. It really just wastes time if you do it too early. When mining, rather than only hitting one node individually at a time, try positioning yourself so that your pickaxe can hit 2 nodes at once. Hitting multiple nodes simultaneously greatly speeds up the mining process. And if you're experienced, you can mine nodes halfway, and if you don't like what you see, you can wait for the node to regenerate instead of waiting for another one to randomly spawn. You can use this to your advantage. By only having to mine nodes halfway, you'll be able to find rare ores at a faster rate. Just create a route of nodes where you can still hit multiple at once, whilst letting more half-mined subpar nodes regenerate new ones. This cave over here has usually the best basalt vein clusters and routes, good for mid and some late game crafts. Alright, go. If you have a good chunk of change, you can use mining and luck potions to speed up the process noticeably well. You can also equip achievements for all sorts of mining related and miscellaneous boosts. The best runes you can apply on your main pickaxe are just luck traded mining shards, preferably with a higher luck percentage, usually 14 to 16 if you're going for the absolute best luck build. I've already talked enough about forging armor. Just make sure you have Dark Knight unlocked, have enough ore for at least a heavy item, and make sure the ores you have good traits. Or just use a forge calculator to do that for you. What are traits, you might ask? Well, just use a forge calculator and figure that out. I spent way too long on editing this already. Here's all you need to know. You need at least 1/10 of the craft to grant a minor effect and scales to roughly 30% of the item in the recipe to have the full effect. Inor's traits are typically only weapon or armor exclusive, with the exception of Ior playing its traits for both. So don't just spam a bunch of random rare ores into a pot. Please, please, please look at the forge calculator or literally any wiki. Just save some of them for the more late game crafts. Runes are dropped from mobs and have both a trait and occasionally a sub-trait, with stat boosts of traits falling on particular ranges. But typically, from what I've observed, 13% being considered about higher than the average for most traits. I just added a ton of combat runes, so I'm gonna have to rework this later. Just check the wiki. As the final tip, learn combat. Try to learn each enemy's attack patterns and then get your first swings in, so you aren't just trading blows with them repeatedly. Learning how to actually deal with enemies without blowing all your health away can actually be pretty important in later, more combat-oriented stages of the game. Parrying is technically possible, but the parry in this game isn't particularly the best, and the timing is a bit hard to get, so unless you play any combat games outside of Bandit Beaters, just learning to dodge patterns is just fun. The only thing you shouldn't do really is just diving straight into an enemy, basically. With the right setup, in fact, the best money-making method is actually farming enemies in the volcanic depths by selling the essence and forging the drops into $3,000 plus heavy chestplates and leggings. Sorry this video couldn't get pushed out before the update. I had to rush through a few of them and got sick midway, so it's a bit scuffed in some bits. I mean, you don't have to, but if you enjoyed it, smash that. Okay, but on a serious note, if you want more updated versions, please consider subscribing.